going on, Jerome's? So, legal tampering is now open, and the Vikings made a big-time move to start off free agency by inking up former Houston Texans edge rusher Jonathan Greenard. Now, pulling the veil behind the curtain. Now, we never claimed to be an insider or whatever, but we had gotten pretty reliable word that the Vikings were all in on Jonathan Greenard. Now, we didn't really want to put out a video like, hey, the Vikings need to sign Jonathan Greenard like we do with every single free agent. But we heard there's two names that the Vikings were all in on: Jonathan Greenard and then running back Tony Pollard. So, I mean, Pollard just signed with the Titans, so I guess we're 50-50. But we did, like always, tend to subtly put Jonathan Greenard in on our 7-round mock drafts, our scenarios. But yeah, he's a player that I think that the Vikings are going to fit hand in glove with him and Flores and company. So I think that this makes all the sense in the world. It also means that Daniil's probably gone. Sort of is what it is. But Kwesi, I think this is a fantastic signing at a great price. You're snagging a player who plays the run and the pass equally well as a guy who's ascending. So you get younger and a little bit cheaper on the edge versus sticking with Daniil. So I can't complain about it. And speaking of cheaper, so Schefter, former Texas pass rusher Jonathan Greenard is signing a 4-year, $76 million deal with $42 million guaranteed with the Vikings per his agents Drew Rodenhouse and Robert Bailey. Ooh. Robert Bailey's getting in the agency game. Love that. That's the U being the U. So $19 million per year, which ranks 15th highest paid on the edge. That's going to get lapsed 17 different times during this free agency period, but it is what it is. But Greenard is fantastic. So let's talk about him today. He's 26 years young, does turn 27 in May, 6'3", 263, former 3-star recruit from Jerome, Georgia. Park of the day. Played for the Florida Gators. Came in as a 3rd-round pick in 2020 by the Texans. Now, since this is Combine RAS season, like he didn't blow the doors off the roof in terms of numbers, but I remember him during the draft, and I would have been perfectly fine if the Vikings would have snagged him at the top of day 3, just as a rotational edge guy. And I mean, he certainly did pan out. A little bit starts and fits getting settled in Houston. Did have a nice season 2021, 8 sacks. Had a couple injuries in 2022. Kwesi loves him, the injuries. Mom, I can change him, guy. But rose like a freaking phoenix in 2023. First year with D'Amico Ryans. He was fantastic. He and Will Anderson were completely taxing that ass on the edge. A career-high 53 pressures, career-high 12.5 sacks, plus 52 total tackles, and he just gets after it, man. I really love this signing for the Vikings. And Greenard, so high motor, high football IQ. He's a guy who's going to do the work. Lunch pail type player. He really is blue collar, and that's what stood out about his draft profiles as well as his time with the Texans, especially last year. Even though he didn't test the greatest, but he does have an explosive first step up on film. Strength to set the edge as well. He is a fun loose player with great bend and can really get the corner. Can really make those hairpin turns, and like we said, he is dedicated to the run. So I mean, the Vikings had a great player like this in Danielle Hunter, but now you have a guy in Greenard who can come in and do a very similar job, as well as younger and cheaper. Plus, Greenard, so he does do hand in the dirt. He does stand up on the outside, primarily rush from the right side last season. D'Amico Ryans, but with Flores, we'll see what he wants to do. Probably going to be moving him all around, and that's right meow. So Daniil gone. So you got Greenard up at the top. You got DJ Wadham, who's a free agent. Marcus Davenport on the void contract. He's probably going to be a free agent too. I would say the Vikings should look into reinvesting into DJ Wadham and bringing him back, because Wadham, 20 career sacks over the last 3 years. I think that he would be very good being paired up with Greenard. And this year's edge class, like, it's not top heavy, as well as it's not exceedingly deep. Like, once you get outside of the second round, once you get past like Chop Robinson and company, I mean, there isn't really much that you're really excited about. So unless you're getting Dallas Turner or Verse or Latu, it's pretty thin. So I would be fine if the Vikings spent some of the cap savings that they have from not bringing back Daniil and giving him a new contract and using it on Greenard and Wadham. So like $30 million total per season on Greenard and Wadham versus $25, $26 million on Daniil. I get it. I get it, man. Also, then sprinkle in PJ2 in a contract year, as well as some Andre Carter as well. But I think the Vikings absolutely smash this one. I think that it's a great player who's ascending, who's going to fit in perfectly with what the Vikings want to do schematically. I think Flores probably had a big say in the signing as well, and also the price is certainly right. So I think that it's fantastic. I think it's a really good get for the Vikings moving forward. But your thoughts are thoughts. A Vikings sign former Texans edge rusher Jonathan Greenard. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Once you put the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.